Good morning. Carnivore Corby coming at you from the great Buckeye State. Let's see how we do this. Upsy daisy, downsy doozy. Something like that. Aren't you going up? There we go. I don't know. I'm not your professional photographer, photographer, whatever you want to call it. So I'm starting my morning off with a little beef towel. That's in a hot pan. Let me show you. It's not hot yet. I just cleaned out my refrigerator. Well water, heavy cream, leftover burgers for tonight's dinner, chicken livers that my wife eats a lot of, yogurt that I bought a week ago and haven't even touched yet, and some sun tea that's froze. Our refrigerator's not that great. Plenty of butter on it and some dogs, and that's about it. This side over here I'm about ready to clean out. We have had stuff in here for months and months, and we don't use it. I switched my maple syrup guy. This guy cooks his maple syrup down a couple hours more, and you want to talk about a different flavor. Wow. I called him up and asked him, I said, hey, are you using wood? You know, because they used to do wood fires, but there, I had to clean the screen off. It's fogging up. But yeah, they used to do wood fires back when I was a kid, and he said no, most people do diesel now, which I don't know if I'm really crazy about that, but he has to cook his down more, and it is he lets it go longer. I don't know if it's to get to that hydrometer temperature, whatever that is. But so yeah, we have a bunch of sauces that we use for chicken, and I rarely eat chicken. Now I did go, hang on. Okay. What I was saying was I did go to a restaurant and had lunch after the funeral that we went to, and they had fried chicken, a whole salad bar, which is, to me, I'm like, really, you're still serving salad with the outbreak? But past that, I'll up right by that, and sorry, this sort of stuff just, when I start cooking, I like to make sure everything is clean. Clorox wipes. Anyways, they had, thank the Lord, they had baked chicken. But it had barbecue sauce on it. It really tasted good. But once again, your barbecue sauces, that's all sugar, you know, which I'm not strict, but I try to be as strict as my body likes. That's why I'm as strict as I am. I'm not the carnivore police. I don't believe in, the new word now is dogmatic. I don't believe in being dogmatic. You know, if you want to, it's your life, it's your research. I'm just here for entertainment. So anyways, hang on. So anyways, excuse me, when I get my wipes out, I like to wipe everything I can wipe. Oh, forgot one. Okay. So, I went to a funeral yesterday, and I've really been pondering the whole day after, and even this morning. There's the friend of mine's grandma that passed. His brother has MS, and so I'm almost positive it's MS because I talked to him a while back, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly what he has. But being totally unsure, I'm 95% that I'm right. I wanted to somehow double check with his brother to make sure that's what's going on and how he's doing, and then trying to figure a nice encouraging way to introduce Carnivore, and just so he can watch some videos to go, hey, there's people that's had MS, that's been through the shots, the experimental medicine. There's supposedly meal plans, which I don't know, that may be somewhat carnivore, maybe protein, I don't know. But one lady that I watched that's that's been on the news, like your TV shows, she is an actual doctor. Hang on. Better turn that off. I'm going to try to do the video here before I start cooking because it gets so loud with all the noise. So anyways, I'm going to talk to you when I'm doing my burgers here. This was my leftover, hang on, gotta wash. Okay. So even though I use the Clorox wipes, I like to wash my hands with soap and water before I touch food. I don't trust it all. So this is my venison burger mix that I had done a couple days ago, which I even hate to let it sit in the refrigerator that long. But life, happens, and there's things you don't just have time for. So anyways, after I make sure that that's what the problem is, and I want to go talk to him, actually. I want to go talk to him and just sit down with him and see how he's doing and all that sort of thing, just, trying to be the encouraging, listening, and see where he's at, and then maybe introduce Carnivore to him. It's hard to keep my mouth shut about this lifestyle. My wife totally understands this because all the years that I have done this, all the years I've been living on this earth, I've done a few things, and none of them worked. And Carnivores work for me. And I have seen it on videos and social media. All the comment section I read, that's all from Facebook comments. People that are on Carnivore trying to find, well, if they're having issues with too much fat, not enough fat, the first couple weeks of Carnivore is rough on some people, all that sort of thing. So, got my burgers ready. These are my leftover ones. That's got the venison, that does. So, that's something I've been doing today. I've already watered all the raised beds again. And I also wanted to talk about, so I got to figure out, I've got to come up with a plan, which is not like me. I'm not a really big planner guy. I'm getting better, but the other thing I'm doing is I'm doing a little, praying about it. Praying about it so maybe he can lead me to the perfect video, because I've tried looking some up. And like I said, the one lady that was a doctor that's been, I can't remember, Walls, I think's her name. I don't know, I just wasn't a fan of her protocol, because I've been down that road and it's not aligning with what this is doing. What I mean by this is right there. Animal protein with all the amino acids in it. And animal fat. Give me a minute. You got the pan warming back up again. So, it's my life experiment. I've done the vegetables. I've done the juicing. I went out and bought the $300 juicer because I bought a cheap one that didn't work real well. And then it didn't last, 6 months. So I ended up, the second one I bought was the one that they recommended. Not 6 months. The juicer didn't last 2 weeks because I did the juicing for 3 months straight. I drank nothing but juice. I've told you before, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the flavor. Of course, it's watermelon, sweet. Everything is sweet. Apple, grape, watermelon, apple, grape, carrot. That was like my go-to. I juiced that usually every day or every 3 days. Tried to make them big batches so I didn't have to clean the juicer that sort of thing. But anyways, and other than the flavor and that, it didn't work. I'm not going to get into detail about it again because I don't want my video being 35 minutes. Anyways, so that part of my life, it didn't work. And when I heard about keto, my wife and I cleaned all the cupboards out. Trust me, I've got it all. When I say we clean the cupboards out of all our sugar and flour, because basically keto is just substituting your sugar in your flour with like almond flour and all that, which we don't have. We don't have any. Well, we might one way up there. But anyways, there you go. Swerve, monk fruit, powdered sugar. Here's what I was telling you about. The one thing that was made out of egg white powder. Can't find it on there. But anyway, so we did it all. We did the keto. We tried it. It was a little better. If anything, it helped me go to carnivore because getting off the sugar was my hardest thing. Probably the only two things that I really miss as far as vegetables is asparagus and the zucchini bread. My wife made zucchini bread here for the neighbors and family, and when you walk into a house, it's got the smell of fresh zucchini bread. It was a temptation, but I'll be dipped if I didn't pass. Why? Because I go back to my why. I stick to this because you have to have your why. which is part of the thing I'm thinking about trying to, if I had a disability, an autoimmune disease, whatever I had, I mean, if I had that, that'd be my number one why. I would not go off of this because of that. My why is it's night and day difference with energy. In about 92.5% of your carnivores will say that their energy goes through the roof. When you get off the propane and high octane and the caffeine and the sugar and all that stuff, you just think you can't get through the day. That's including you youngsters out there drinking Monsters at 20 some years old. Please